This is probably the best VA benefit available for spouses of disabled veterans after you pass away. If you have a condition that has a high likelihood to be the main cause or a contributing factor in your death, it might be worth getting service connected. It'll make it a little easier for the little lady if you can get ahead of this stuff. Strategy, right? The best example I can give you is disabled veterans with heart conditions. If you have high blood pressure, you've had heart attacks, heart problems in general, it would be a good idea to get that service connected, even at 0%, because if you pass away from a service-connected disability, then it's going to be easier for your spouse to get DIC benefits. Another way for your spouse to be eligible for Dependency and Indemnity Compensation benefits is if you have a 100% rating and you hold that rating for 10 years in a row. That would make your spouse eligible for this benefit as well. You have to be married to your spouse for at least 1 year prior to your passing away, and she cannot get remarried until she's over the age of 57 if she wants to continue getting DIC benefits. After she's over the age of 57, she could safely remarry and get Dependency and Indemnity Compensation benefits. These are the broad strokes for VA benefits for spouses of disabled veterans as they relate to Dependency and Indemnity Compensation benefits. There are lots of ins and outs with regard to age, getting remarried, children, and when your spouse applies for DIC benefits after you pass away, she should be prepared to answer a lot of questions because they're going to be asking a lot of questions about your marriage, previous marriage, and your children. Some of the things you should have available is your marriage certificate to show that you were married at the time of your passing. You'll also want to have your children's birth certificates available as well. And then you're also, well, you're going to be dead, but she's going to need to have a copy of your death certificate. They're also going to be asking you if you were married and divorced. They're going to be asking you for divorce decrees for both of you. Line her up so she's taken care of. So get your previous divorce paperwork. I got a couple of those myself. I don't know where, but you know, if I get remarried again and this is what I was going for, this is something I'd be doing. Knock the dust off of those things and get them into a file. VA is going to be asking for them. You will also want to make sure your spouse has a copy of the veteran's death certificate, and in most cases, it will list the cause of death. If you're already service connected for the disability that takes you out, this is going to make the application process run smoothly. So it's important to, get these things service connected if at all possible. Also, it doesn't have to be the primary cause of death, but it can be a contributing factor, so that is something that you need to be aware of as well. Now, I'm not suggesting that you attempt to get every possible thing service connected that could kill you, but, using the heart conditions example, that's the #1 killer of Americans, right? Statistically, it's like that. If you have heart conditions, it might be worthwhile to get 1 or 2 of those things service connected. You want to make this as easy as possible if you can. If you can't, you can't. Since I'm going down the rabbit hole here with examples, another example might be you slip and you fall, break your hip, bust your head, something like that. And as the impact is the leading cause of death, if you're service connected for your lower back or for your feet like I am or something else, and that's what caused the instability, you can make an argument saying that the lower back was the secondary cause. Think of them kind of as secondary claims. Dig into this. We're talking a lot of money here, and you want to make sure, when you're gone, your family's taken care of. The VA has literature and marketing material that makes this process appear easier than it seems, but it's not really that easy. So you too should spend some time on this because, this is setting her up, your family up for your future. You need to figure out all the different ways that you can, work this out and have redundancy built in. Who knows what the VA is going to be like whenever you pass away. But the more easy connections you can make to make it easier for her to get DIC benefits, that's a good position to be in. That's my kind of strategy. That's the kind of strategy I teach in my boot camp. I would approach this similar to the way you approach VA secondary claims, because there's links and arguments that can be made to successfully argue and win a DIC claim, even if the actual cause of death is not service connected. This is going to require medical evidence, obviously, so make sure you have that. Keep updating your VA medical records, or if you see a private doctor, make sure you're uploading them into your file. You'll want to fill out the application for DIC, survivor's pension, and or accrued benefits on VA Form 21P-534 easy in order to receive these benefits. That's how your surviving spouse applies. You'll also want to keep in mind that if you file your DIC claim within 1 year of the veteran's death, then you'll be paid retroactively back to the date of his death, kind of like an intent to file, kind of. But if you file after the 1 year mark, then the VA is going to make the effective date when they receive the application. So something else to keep in mind. Dig in, educate yourself, little bookworms. This is good stuff. The money goes up pretty damn high, and it's worth your time. And if you could tee it up for the little lady, it's not a bad idea. Put some effort into this stuff, just like your VA claim. Set yourself up so your family's taken care of any way you possibly can. I'll see you in the next video. Let me jump in here real quick and tell you about my boot camp. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. You can talk to me live. There's a link on the website and in the description, combatcraig.com. And also, if you need medical evidence like a nexus or documenting your symptoms properly, go to our website, combatcraig.com, and it says medteam/nexus letters. Click on that link, fill out the form, boom, you're done.